All I have to say about the new DMC anime is this was a trip.
They're demons! I've seen them with my own eyes!
We're not.
I remember way back when, I don't know if anyone else remembers, but I made that video, what is Netflix on, when I saw that they were releasing a whole bunch of like animated things of properties of video games and other things that just seemed pretty interesting. But obviously the standout one was DMC. It looked amazing and everyone couldn't wait for it to come out. Time skip to right now, there's a middle of a war dividing people, whether they think it's really good or people think it's really shit. And honestly, I could see both ways. I don't think it's shit at all. I think it's actually pretty good. But I honestly see why people have issue with it, and I can agree to a certain extent. But first, I think we should get into the story. I don't really want to go over the story like that because it's DMC. If you like it, you know, you're gonna know a lot more about DMC. But you know what? We'll just get into the story. I'll stop my bitching and complaining. Alright, so the story first starts out with a man by the name of Dante, right? Now, Dante is a half-blooded demon slash human because his father was Sparta, who made a seal into the world, sealing the demon realm over there while the human realm is over here, protecting the human realm, because the demon realm is ruled by a man named Mundus, and it's basically a super uber hellscape, and it's hell but not really hell. It's called something else, but not important. Side note, funny enough, kind of reminded me of Mephisto from Marvel, who is like the devil, but he's not really the devil, and he has a hell realm where he has souls, but irrelevant. That's not part of the conversation. There's also these two amulets that was split between Virgil as well as Dante. Now, a portal wants to be opened because of a man in a rabbit hat that wants to open this portal to quote-unquote hell for God knows what reason at the point in time. But he needs Dante's blood, Virgil's blood, as well as a sword and an amulet, and also their blood, but Virgil's presumably dead, so how would you get that? We'll figure it out if you watch the show. Alright, I'm pretty sure that's it. I think we covered the basis of the intro of the show. Now I have to get into my positives and negatives. What I have to say would be, I had a really good time. It has its issues, and I think it'll be best if I go over the negatives first, then we go over the positives of what I did like. It's something I always love to do on this channel. So with the negatives first is, one, there is not a lot of Dante. Now that sounds insane because the name of the show is fucking called DMC and Dante is the protagonist, but it feels like the main protagonist is actually the lady as well as the rabbit man. Obviously he's the antagonist, but you know what I mean. There's like huge spotlight on lady as well as this rabbit man that's very mysterious, and that's something I'll get into later. But still going on the heels of Dante, right? With Dante, you do not see a lot of him, as well as I do feel like Dante gets bitched around a bit too much and a little too easily. Like, I know obviously in DMC 3 we do see Dante get fucked up a lot,
But it would be a waste if you ended up as just a pretty stain. Me?
and him not really giving a fuck and just taking whatever it really just happens for the fuck of it. But I feel like it happens a bit too much here, as well as it's like taken kind of a bit serious. Like, oh, Dante kind of got like owned, even though we kind of just saw him do the most insane, crazy, batshit thing happen, which is just take care of a whole mercenary army with the greatest of fucking ease. But in the same breath, I kind of understand it, because one, we do want stakes in the show, and two, we can't have obviously Dante just like blitz everything in 2 seconds. Even though I'm 100% fine with that, I'm 100% fine with him just blitzing everything in 5 seconds and having a good old time. I forgot to add this, so I'll just add this in post. If you are a DMC purist, I would not suggest this show, but let me finish my thought first before you, like, you know, go with that opinion of what I just said. But I would also at the same breath say that I feel like it does have the potential in the later seasons to either still be its own thing, but also connect it back to the game itself and even be a little bit more like those characters in the game, or just still be their own thing but still have a little bit of connections to the games. But it's still a good show. But I would have to say that the biggest thing that is kind of crazy, but I feel like it starts to get developed a lot more, is Virgil. Virgil himself in the show, he literally is quite the opposite. He's extremely one note in the game itself. He gets trauma, he gets power, he wants power a lot because he gets through trauma multiple times, and then that's really the thing. In this show, he's just giving power away instead of trying to protect the people, but I feel like that also could be Mundus's control a little bit here and there, but we're just gonna have to see until the next season. But if you have a bit of a more open mind, or you just want to have a bit more fun with it, then yeah, there's a lot of fun to be had. Now for an idea that I'm kind of on the middle of right now, this idea of them being like a lot of good demons that are in this demon realm. Now we do know that there are a little bit amount of good demons, quote unquote, like Sparta, who like sealed and helped humanity. Then there's also Triss, who's basically becoming a bounty hunter against demons, even though she is a demon herself. And I guess you want to count Dante, not really Virgil, because he's kind of evil as shit.
I'm taking this back.
Then there's also the demon slash human hybrids in 4, but technically speaking that doesn't count because they're not really demon, they're human first. But I understand that there's a few good demons, but I never like put the idea of like, oh wow, there's probably like a lot of good demons in the demon realm. That'll definitely be a good possibility after like most of them attempt to kill you in the games. And the reason I'm on the fence about it is because it's weird. It's like I kind of don't like it because like it makes a little bit to no sense, and then I kind of do like it because it works for the story. It works for the idea of the Rabbit Man as well as Triss, and having that sort of collide with both of their characters. I'll get into that later. Staying on topic, I feel like it's a complete foreign concept that I grasp around it, but very, very loosely. But that's all I really think I have for the negatives. I want to move on to the very overwhelming positives, right? One, let's go back over Dante. One, even though we don't see a lot of Dante, we see him like a good like what 4 episodes out of the 8. This is fucking Dante. No matter what anyone wants to say, this is the most biblically accurate Dante we have. He's cracking his jokes, he's doing badass shit, he's doing the thing that he always does, which is the 3-no rule of basically doesn't really go out the women, doesn't really smoke, doesn't really drink, doesn't really curse. What a fucking loser. I know I said 4, just forget the drinking part. I kind of just added that part in there, but he does those staple things that really was a cool thing back in the 90s, 80s, and 70s. And he doesn't have to do any of that, and it's still cool as shit. It would have been a lot better if we got a 3-way with the Rabbit Man, Lady, as well as Dante. Paul is not in that fucking way, but the way of story of like having them all 3 be a main overarching story being told, but we really go over the Rabbit Man and Triss a lot, and I kind of like that. But again, if we just did it with Dante, it would have been even fucking better. It is not to say Dante doesn't have a story in here. He definitely gets fleshed out, and we talk about his past and his emotions and how he kind of feels about him accepting who he is. Almost kind of like Nero in Devil May Cry 5/4. But this is just Dante in its fucking peak in hype. Then there's also Lady and Rabbit Man, right? Now, I feel like they're 2 sides of the same coin, with them both having their faith and beliefs, but it feels like Lady's faith can be shaken a bit. With us going over a lot of Lady content, whether it be her past about her father using a demonic serum and turning himself into a part demon and kind of just almost killing his entire family. Then there's also just the fact of her being by herself, being an orphan, and then just going into Darkcom to be a super soldier to kill demons specifically. And it's interesting with Lady, you see her be overly confident, like she knows everything, she can do everything. She's like, oh, I'm the shit, I'm basically the best person here, anything that happens I kind of got it, to then her having all of her faith and belief be shaken and shook when she sees there are good demons, or there's demons out there that fight other demons, and just getting shocked by a complete spin on a culture that she thought she knew all about, as well as all of her mistakes that she's made before even making the Rabbit Man. We all know that she's gonna turn heel and then go with Dante at some point in time, but for now it seems like she still chooses to have this faith and belief in Darkcom, even though we're definitely gonna see next season that shit is gonna hit left real quick. And there's also the Rabbit Man, who basically was an orphan himself again, and he actually went to the world of the demons and became friends with a lot of the good quote-unquote demons, trying to help and supply them because their world was literally a living hell. But we lost all of his family due to Lady and her mistake of thinking that every demon's a bad demon. It created the batshit ideology of the Rabbit Man, him wanting to open the demon world and putting it into the human world to save the good demons. But when the bad outweighs the good, then motherfucker, this isn't a good decision at all. What I mean by that is the few outweighing the many. There's only a few good demons in that realm, or at least what it looks like, besides all the fucking super demonic Satan-esque demons that are right there that will literally destroy humanity in 2 seconds. And to top it off with Lady and the Rabbit Man, that episode they had together was fucking masterful. I could not sit here and tell you that that was bad at all. It was fucking phenomenal. No words said, just having all of their story just laid out right in front of us. But Lady definitely reminds me of someone that is very overly religious, and they're choosing not to do what they want or doing something that they would normally have fun in doing, and choosing not to be a little more looser, or her seeing things that clearly go against what she's thinking or what she's thought before. But she's on the brink of that turnhill. I can smell the turnhill coming from a mile away, and I'll be waiting for it. And then with the Rabbit Man, it feels like he went down the rabbit hole and lost his mind going down it. He went down a path that physically is impossible a task for him to do. Save everybody. That's not going to be possible, especially with these demons and him bringing them to another realm. It felt like his fate was sealed as soon as he entered that portal. His destiny was doomed as soon as he started and doomed as soon as he ended. I know the show has this big glaring problem with them not being enough Dante. I feel like we do get a decent amount, but obviously we should be getting more. When the name of the show is called DMC, but I can't fully go out here and go like, oh, it's a bad show when it has so many overwhelming positives. Especially when I think they are gonna do a really good job in season 2. I think they're even gonna improve better on it, as well as we're definitely gonna get a lot more Dante. At least that's what I feel like. With a lot of the action, the comedy, the animation, the storytelling, I still highly suggest the show. I think you should give it a chance. But if you're a DMC purist and that shit is definitely gonna irk you like a 45-year-old man grinding on your ass, then I would not suggest don't watch it. Just don't watch it, or maybe wait till season 2 comes out and then give it a chance. Sorry, it was just a thought that came to my mind, but I did want to say before I get out of here, if you're a fan of anything that is like a video game or maybe a comic book, I don't think it's ever a real good idea to go in there expecting a 1-to-1 or something everly close to what the actual thing is. You might as well just go back to whatever video you saw it originally and enjoy it there, because most of the time it's not going to be the same. They seem to always want to do it differently, and the reason why is probably because they don't want to tell the same story over again, even though we would all still enjoy it no matter what. But I will say I always find it interesting when we have new stuff to pick at and look at it from a different perspective and seeing if we would like it or not. That's why I really like Scott Pilgrim. We have the book that is completely different from the animation that's completely different from the movie, but just because it's done well in a different media does not mean it's going to be done well here, and it's done actually well pretty here, believe it or not. At least I think so. I think I'm gonna have a really good time with it. I hope you guys all do. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video, and yeah, I give the show a chance. Give it a chance. Give it a chance. Give it a try. Give it a try. All right, goodbye.